What's up guys, my name is Ace, and welcome back to Maps Exposed. This is the series where I cover all the lines of sight, as well as any other secret spots that I know of on every map in CoD WW2. In today's episode, we're going to be covering Pointe Du Hoc. Starting it off right in the middle of the map, right by the Domination flag here, just a couple of spots I wanted to show you. First up is jumping up to this area here. Most people know you can jump on these barrels, then jump up like this, and this can be really handy if you have enemies spawning in there, or if you just want to get up in this area and maybe challenge somebody that's going to come around like that. Instead of jumping on these barrels, you can actually just jump straight onto the concrete as long as you jump towards where the barrels are. You can't jump towards the outside here, but if you jump like this, it's just a little bit faster and your gun is down for a shorter period of time, so you'll get into the fight a bit quicker than if you just jump on the barrels first. Also towards the middle of the map here, if you have enemies that are coming through that area right there, you can just jump up onto these green barrels here and you get a great line of sight looking over top of these sandbags and you can easily pick those people off. Another thing I wanted to point out from on top of these green barrels right here is you can actually look up into the bunker there, so if somebody's set up on that gun or if they're just sniping from that area in the bunker, you can easily pick them off this way. Now, one thing you can do from on top of these boxes right here, right onto the B flag, is if you hop up right here, you can actually see a little bit in towards that choke point where enemies often come off of spawn. This can be great if you know you've just killed a few enemies, you know they're going to be spawning over there, and you're capping the B flag. You can just pop up here and easily pick them off as they come out of spawn. Now, getting over towards the trenches over here, a couple great jump spots that I have for you guys that I just found out about recently, and they're very, very useful, is actually right here, you can jump up like that, and right over on this side, you can jump up like this. It won't work on any of these wooden areas, it won't work on the barrels, it has to be those specific points on the concrete. Now, getting into this position right here, this is very common when you have enemies spawning back there. People will set themselves up right here and wait for them to come around the corner. Just an alternative if you have a slightly longer range gun is you can just hop up like that and then you can see right over top and you just get a much cleaner line of sight on their entire body, and they usually don't expect you to be here. Now, from this position right here, if you pop up like this, you get a clean line of sight into the bottom story of the radar bunker over there, and you can often pick enemies as they come off through there, as well as enemies that are maybe camping around this corner, waiting for somebody to come around this corner here to them. You can oftentimes pick them off, and they'll have no idea what hit them. Of course, you are pretty exposed up here, so I wouldn't linger here for very long, but there are often situations where this is very useful. Now, getting over to the radar bunker over here on this side of the map, some people still don't know that you can actually jump up onto the boxes here and jump up to the second story. It's just a little bit of an alternative, and maybe you'll take some people off guard. Maybe they're camping inside there. Instead of going through the doorway where they're pre-aiming, you can jump up like this and take them off guard. Another thing you can do with this box right here is if you hop up here, that gets you a line of sight into the bunker over there, and they often don't expect you to be here. They're more so looking up towards the people that are on that balcony, so you'll usually take them off guard if you pop up here and pick off a few shots. Another thing you can do from these boxes is right up here, if you look over top like this, you can see a little bit into that tunnel area there. You can't see the whole thing. If they hug that side, you won't be able to see them, but oftentimes you will be able to pick off a shot through there. Now, if you're on the second story over here, this is a very situation-dependent spot, but it could be for like a 1v1 situation or something like that. If you jump up on here, you can actually see the wooden crate right there, which is a very common spot for enemies to just camp. So if you're up here, maybe you're sniping or you've got an accurate rifle or LMG and you know you're safe in this area, you can just quickly pop up here and use that as a check spot, and you just might get a free kill there. Now, if you spawn all the way back here, a great check spot, a great sniper spot is if you hop up onto these barrels right here, you can actually look over top of this and you can pick the people off that are in their second story of the radar bunker, and they'll have no clue what hit them. They're never looking this far back, and it's usually just going to be a free kill if you have a sniper rifle. Now, over in this area here, if you find yourself behind these pieces of cover and you know somebody's on that machine gun, it can be really difficult to get a clean line of sight on them while also still having cover. Either way you challenge it, you're always going to be exposing your entire body to them. And really, the only alternative that I have for you guys is to hop up on these barrels here and then try to pick off your shot as fast as possible. Your gun will be down for a little bit, so you will be a bit exposed, but sometimes you'll be able to take them off guard. And I feel like it's just better than coming right around the corner and showing your whole body to him where he can easily pick you off. Now, just in case you might be new to this map, just pay attention to this ledge right over here. This is an area where you can often wait for people to come through this tunnel area here, or if you are coming through this tunnel, just be aware that enemies can be up above you in that position. Now, from up on this position over here, it can be very powerful. Of course, you are very exposed, so you really have to know what's going on around you. But from up here, you get a nice line of sight over towards those spawns there. You can get a great line of sight into the bottom story of the radar bunker there, and you can even look into this bunker over here. And if you're really quick and you know what's going on around you, you can definitely control the entire map from this position. Now, getting over towards the sea domination area right here, just want to point out, if you pop up right here, you get a nice line of sight onto the area down there that enemies will often come through, especially for opening routes, and you get a bit of a line of sight towards the window of the barn over there. You can't see the entire thing, but you can see at least half of that window. So finally, one last spot I have for you guys is from the second story of the farmhouse here. If you edge your way over here, you actually get a great line of sight into the stairway going into that bunker there, and you can often take enemies off guard. I wouldn't really camp here for very long. It is a bit situation dependent, but if you happen to be up in this area and you know people are going to be coming through there, this is a great way to peek them. So there we have it. That's going to wrap it up for today's episode of Maps Exposed. We've only got one more base map to cover, and that is Aachen. That will be coming next. If you guys have missed any of the previous episodes, I will leave a link to the playlist down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.